Hey, what's up guys, this is Big Moran from S12 PvP.com, and I just wanted to go over my care dev for this expansion and this arena season. And I'm gonna say first that this set that I'm gonna be using is mastery oriented, and the reason I like using mastery is because it's always good. And some may make the argument that haste is always good, but in order for your HOTS to benefit from your haste, you have to have certain haste values, which are generally harder to get in earlier seasons because you just don't have enough haste. So I think in earlier seasons it's best to go mastery and spirit. And so what I set my build around is just reforging from haste to mastery or spirit, whatever I thought was more appropriate. Like if a piece had haste and spirit on it, I'd reforge the haste to mastery. So right now what I'm using is all Kodo hide except for the legs, which are worm hide. And you can't see it right now because Caredev is bugged, but the gems I'm using for most of my gear, for the red sockets I'm using Brilliant, for the yellow sockets I'm using Willful and Mystic, and for the blue sockets I'm using Purified. And it might be better to use PvP power gems in the blue sockets if you're not having mana problems, but until you can really decide that you're not having any sort of mana issues whatsoever, I would stick with Purified, just because Spirit is really important at the beginning of the expansion. And for my trinkets I'm using both the emblems and medallions of meditation, simply because they have a ton of spirit on them. And it's this season you won't be using any sort of PvE gear in arena because PvP power and PvP resilience are just way too strong. So you won't be having anything like Tsunami, so these trinkets are kind of substitutes for that, so that's really nice. And for my weapon enchant, I'm using the Jade Spirit enchant, and that is basically the same thing as Power Torrent, but it gives an extra effect if you're low mana. It gives you a spirit bonus as well. So I just thought I'd also let you guys know what comps I'm planning on running. I have 2 druids, an alliance druid and a horde druid right now. My horde druid is on my old horde server Burning Blade, and I'm going to be running some Shadow Tree because it is one of my favorite comps to begin with. I've ran it basically for the past 3 or 4 seasons, and so I like its playstyle, and you can really utilize NS clones like really perfectly with that comp. And it's also really strong because it has both a Frost Mage and a Shadow Priest, which are incredibly powerful at the moment. Frost Bomb damage is amazing, and Shadow Priest utility is really good at the moment. Master Spell is pretty much clutch against any sort of other Frost Mage team. So I'll let you guys know what I think about that comp, once I start playing it. And besides that, the only comp I could really see myself playing besides that is Shadowplay. Shadowplay is pretty good right now, at least it was during the war games when I played it. So Shadowplay, Shadow Tree, and I might throw in some WLD every now and then, or Warrior Shadow Priest Druid, maybe even Roguelock Druid and Rogue Shadow Priest Druid, though I have heard that rogues aren't very strong, but I'm generally not that ignorant, and I'm pretty much open to play with any class. I don't like running melee cleave though, because I just don't like that kind of mongoloid playstyle. But anyway, I just want to show you guys my current gear setup, or what my planned gear setup is for this expansion. As a recap, make sure you're capped on hit more than anything. Hit's most important. And then you can go to Spirit for a lot of your reforges, and Mastery if you want to go Mastery. You could also go Haste, but make sure you have the appropriate value, and that's dependent on whether or not you're running with a Shadow Priest or Warlock. If you have a Haste buff, and whether or not you can hit those Haste values. But anyway, thanks for watching this video, and make sure to stay subscribed to nextlevelpvp.com.